Hello Miners and welcome back. Today I am not playing Magic. I'm going to channel my inner Mafuz and I am going to play some Dredge. So this is a pretty well-known archetype. Admittedly, it's pretty fringe right now because of the amount of graveyard hate that's running around. But the deck is built around flipping your deck into your graveyard with the help of the Dredge mechanic and basically just overrunning your opponent with value and zombies from being able to recast stuff from your graveyard and recurring your threats while just churning through your deck. So this deck really has two ways of winning the game. The primary game plan is as you're churning through your deck and you're getting stuff back into the graveyard like Narcomoeba and Poxwalkers, you are then sacrificing those creatures to be able to cast things like Dread Return and Cabal Therapy to be able to create a ton of zombies from Bridge from Below triggering. And to close out the game faster, there's even a One of Anger in here to give all those zombies haste to be able to beat down your opponent the turn that you're going off. If the aggro plan isn't going to work, this deck does have a pivot into a combo finish thanks to Sataru, the Infiltrator, and Thassa's Oracle. With getting Sataro back, then casting all of your stuff and getting creatures back from graveyard like your Poxwalkers, you're going to start triggering draws to keep dredging to hopefully eventually empty your entire deck. And then Dread Return back a Thassa's Oracle with an empty deck to be able to win with the old Thoracle combo. So this is a all-in graveyard deck. It's pretty traditionally good against blue combo tempo style decks because after like turn 1 or 2, you're realistically not casting spells anymore. You're mostly dredging stuff back or using activated abilities from stuff like Cephalid Coliseum. And even if you are casting spells, the spells themselves aren't super what you're concerned about. It's more so the triggered abilities that you're getting from casting those spells by getting back Poxwalkers, getting zombies off of Bridge from Below, stuff like that. So once you get into the late game, even if you are casting spells, you really don't normally care about them resolving. You care about the triggers that are being created by casting the spells in the first place. That being said, this deck is very, very weak to graveyard hate, which is why pretty much the entire sideboard, outside of a few cards, are specifically tailored to beating graveyard hate. You've got stuff like Silent Gravestone to make sure that your opponent can't target your cards in your graveyard to screw up your engine. You've got Into the Floodmaw and Kiyora's Dismissal to be able to bounce graveyard hate permanents such as Rest in Peace, such as Leyline of the Void, Containment Priest, stuff like Scavenging Ooze, pretty much anything that would stop you from being able to use your graveyard. You've also got Shenanigans as a repeatable artifact removal spell to be able to take out artifact graveyard hate, such as Grafdigger's Cage or Ghost Vacuum or things along those lines. To wrap up the sideboard, you've got Leyline of the Void to shut down opposing graveyard decks, and Leyline of Sanctity to protect your hand so that the first couple of turns, your hand isn't just getting stripped and your engine's getting pulled out of your hand. It also does have some fringe benefit of being able to stop some of the graveyard hate that targets a specific player to be able to exile their graveyard, but that doesn't come up quite as much due to the fact of modern design. A lot of the graveyard exiling stuff is all opponents, or it doesn't actually target the player. So overall, it's a really fine-tuned deck list. They're all pretty stock at this point. There's not a ton of flex spots, really. Every card is in there for a specific reason and the specific numbers that they have to just keep the engine churning, and hopefully when you go off, you're pretty much just flipping your entire deck into the graveyard and winning on the spot. So let's see if we can get through a league without really playing Magic today. See if I can do the Dredge community a service. See if we can overwhelm the meta with our graveyard synergies and abilities, and I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, let's see how we do not playing traditional Magic today. We are going to just try to flip our entire graveyard, or our entire deck into our graveyard and beat our opponent down. That being said, so we could Cabal Therapy ourselves here. I don't think that's what I want to do, though. I don't want to get Stinkweed Imp into the graveyard that way, and we still need a better way to empty our entire hand, so I think we're going to mulligan this. It's just way too slow to start. This is kind of the same deal here. We can go ahead and break through on one to dump our hand, but then we're just dredging after that. I'd rather have a dredger in the graveyard before we go for the breakthrough. So I think we're going to mulligan one more time here. This deck can operate off of very few lands. This one I think we're going to go ahead and keep, just because it's got some stable mana behind it, so when we draw some of our engines, we also have stuff to chuck into the graveyard to start. So I think we're going to keep this, bottom the Dread Return, bottom the Narc Amoeba for now, and hope that we draw some kind of enabler here. Savannah from the opponent. Okay, so we might just be dead on turn 2 here. That is very much a possibility. Opponent's clearly on some kind of breakfast build. Cabal Therapy. We could Therapy them now and name the Illusionist, hope they don't have a Force of Will to protect it, or if they do, they have to pitch the Illusionist to the Force of Will. So I think we're going to do that just for the sake of trying to make sure that we can survive until next turn, and we can try to get some information from our opponent here. If they're in tune with the format, they very much know this means Dredge, but we're going to go with Cephalid Illusionist. They seem to be F6'd here. Alright, they don't have it. They're setting up for a Nadu, and they can get Keen-Eyed Curator down next turn, but can't activate it. They also don't have any blue mana for Nadu yet. So this does buy us a turn. They also don't have blue mana if they do draw the Illusionist. But the heads-up thing here is to play the Force and then play the Keen-Eyed Curator, because it's pretty obvious we're doing something with our graveyard here. Alright, so there's the Keen-Eyed Curator. We definitely need something to be able to start going off here very quickly, otherwise this game is going to just end. Because we don't have a fast way to fill our graveyard here. I'd like a Lion's Eye Diamond or something similar. Okay, Careful Study isn't bad. This could potentially find us something relevant here. It doesn't find us anything at the moment. We also still are a blue land away from just getting Nadu'd into oblivion here. The problem is we can also throw our dredgers into the graveyard. But there's a very real possibility they're just going to spend their turn using mana to eat them. But I think that buys us a turn. But let's throw Thug and Bridge into the yard for now as a distraction. And then we will play Scalding Tarn, pass the turn, hope that we can hit like a Faithless Looting or something to turn on the Cephalid Illusionist. Or they just have the Nadu. Okay, they hit the land, have the Nadu. Let's see how bad this goes for us. I'm just going to yield until the next end step. They can do their thing. This is a card I'm very mad did not get hit by the BNR. There's a Swords. Green Sun. Green Sun is theoretically 2 more triggers. Another Swords. Another land. Yeah, we're just going to go to the next one. It's fine. Like, Nadu definitely should have gotten a ban at the last announcement, but Wizards has a habit of being behind the curve when it comes to that kind of shit, so we'll see, but we know what our opponent's doing. A little unfortunate. We want to bring in the Silent Gravestones for sure. There's also something to be said about if they actually are in the Cephalid plan, bringing in the ley lines to stop that combo, but they might just be full in on Nadu for value purposes. I think we might bring in the Into the Flood Maws as well here. Boarding with this deck always feels bad to me. In general, I've been taking out just some of the card draw stuff so we lose our explosiveness, but I'm still not 100% sure because you don't really want to take out any of your engine is the problem. But when you're bringing stuff in, obviously you're diluting your game plan here. I'm always torn on Anger. I feel like it's where you can kind of get wins out of nowhere if you manage to go off under your opponent's graveyard hate. What do I want to take out here? We can probably... I mean, Sataru enables the combo finish if we want to go that route. We also might not need all of this, but I want to be able to draw it. Unfortunately, Silent Gravestone is a little bit of a nombo when it comes to Dread Return and that kind of stuff. I think we'll trim 1 Dread Return. I think we're going to get rid of the combo route and take out Sataru. I think we're going to go more aggro, try to beat our opponent down with a whole bunch of zombies. And then we need 1 more cut. Maybe we only do 3 into the Flood Maws. Yeah, let's try something like that. Alright, let's see if we can just pop off faster than our opponent. This is the same problem as last time. However, we're on the play, so we can Cabal Therapy a hate piece. But then we can Cabal Therapy ourselves to get Stinkweed Imp into the graveyard to try to turn on I think we gotta mulligan this. This just isn't quite explosive enough. Okay, this I like. Let's go ahead and keep this. We will bin the Narcomoeba for now. I like this because we have Otherworldly Gaze into Otherworldly Gaze, and LED to dump these dredgers into the graveyard. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have ley lines. If they do, it's a little annoying, but it seems like we're dodging for now. Let's run out Scalding Turn and Lion's Eye Diamond and pass the turn. We will plan on end-stepped Otherworldly Gazing ourselves. Alright, Misty Rainforest from the opponent and pass. Okay. So we are going to do what I said here. Since we already have a mountain, I think I'm going to go grab Underground Sea here. Round out our colors, so if we end up drawing a, whatchamacallit, we can just play it. Okay, so I actually think we're going to leave Faithless Looting on top and draw it. So we'll put that into the graveyard, put that into the graveyard, put Faithless Looting on top, get the Narcomoeba back, and then we should be able to Faithless Looting twice this turn. We are not going to Dredge in our upkeep. We are going to start with Faithless Looting. And it is heads up that we technically can do it twice here. So Dredge a Stinkweed Imp, and then we didn't really hit anything super relevant here, so let's chuck Thug and Imp. We're just going to blow our whole hand doing this anyways to flashback a Faithless Looting. They didn't counter the first one. It looks like they might be trying to counter the second one. Okay, they're brainstorming. They're looking for a way to counter this one. And it resolves. Dredge a Troll. Dredge a Troll. Chuck the Trolls. We do have a Cabal Therapy and a couple of Poxwalkers here. So we have Anger in the graveyard and some Bridge from Belows. So we are going to go ahead and do this pre-combat, because this is going to be more damage, bringing all of this stuff back. Always yield to Poxwalkers. Always yield to this. So they don't have counter magic, so I think we're going to go ahead and name Nadu here. Try to take their engine offline. There's no point in going after... Okay, so we can take Nadu, and then we can flash this back and grab Ground Seal. Alright, opponent scooped it up anyways. Okay, we were able to get under them. Ground Seal is interesting to know about, but we do have the Into the Flood Moss to be able to bounce it. So I think going into game 3... we're actually going to change up our sideboard plan here a little bit. I think we're going to trim down on some number of gravestones to bring in more of the bounce. Actually, maybe just bring in the Kior's Dismissal. Go up to 4 bounce spells here, since clearly their graveyard hate is going to be enchantment-based, based off of what we saw. So yeah, let's try something like that. Okay, this is interesting. It dies kind of hard to graveyard hate right off of the bat or a counter spell. Is that worth it? I think we can do better. Let's mulligan. Okay, I like this. We will keep this. And we will put Thassa's Oracle back into the deck. We have our engine to start, and we have an Into the Flood Maw to try to bounce any kind of permanent-based graveyard hate they have. Okay, they're just ramping now. So Green Sun Zenith for Dryad Arbor. We could kind of do the cheeky thing here and Into the Flood Maw their Dryad Arbor. But I think we're just going to start off with Faithless Looting here. Let's grab a Volk so that we have access to our 2 main colors that we need at the moment. Cast Faithless Looting. Let's chuck... I mean, we're chucking the Grave Troll for sure. I don't like these Narcomoebas being in my hand here. I'm just debating if we want to chuck a Poxwalkers or the Bridge from Below. I think we're going to chuck a Poxwalkers here, because it gives us the option to get it back if we draw something relevant. I'm definitely not a fan of where we're at right now. A Keen-Eye Curator could also come down and take our 1 Grave Troll as well, if that's what they have. Or there's... Okay, it's just a Fairy. That's fine. I don't really care about that. While annoying, not the end of the world, I'm not really playing on, whatchamacallit here, instant speed. So we could Dredge Grave Troll and hope for the best. The problem is 2 of our Narcomoebas are already in hand. So I think we're just going to take a natural draw first. Okay. And yeah, that's good. We could also just run out Narcomoeba right now for the hell of it. We could also Into the Floodmaw, bounce the Dryad Arbor to try to cut them off of being able to completely combo off next turn. But I'd rather hold up my Into the Floodmaw, I think. I think we're just going to run out the Narcomoeba here. It looks a little weird doing this, but I think this is what we're going to try to do. And then we will go ahead and Dredge next turn, now that we have something to sack to a Cabal Therapy. Unless they give us a reason not to. Nomads, do they just have the combo? If they do, they're doing it post-combat. Alright, they're not doing it yet. Now we face the same problem of, do we draw or do we Dredge? I think we Dredge. Because if we hit Cabal Therapies, that's good. Okay, we get an Narcomoeba back. We have an Otherworldly Gaze in the yard that we can cast. Which is probably what we want to do here. Is just cast this, see if we can hit something else relevant. We get Poxwalkers back. Cephalid Coliseum, Cabal Therapy, and a land. So we want to put Cabal Therapy in the yard. They didn't have Nadu yet. And then this does allow us to elude or Coliseum next turn in theory. So Therapy's going into the graveyard for sure. I think we want to put the Tarn into the graveyard. And we want to draw the Cephalid Coliseum next turn. Now the question just becomes do we want to Cabal Therapy now? They didn't have Nadu, they didn't have Illusionist. Well, let's move to combat before we do anything. Move to combat. Hit Teferi. Not that it particularly matters at the moment. So what we're drawing... We don't have any Dredgers in the yard is the only problem here. If they had any kind of graveyard hate already, I feel like they would have played it. I really wish we had a way to get this Thug into the graveyard before we try to go off with the Coliseum. We could just flashback Faithless Looting next turn. Okay, they're just going to Swords that. That's mostly fine for now. Upticking Teferi. They have a land. Not getting in yet. Okay, so Endurance is a thing that they could have. So we draw the Coliseum that we knew about. I think we're just going to go ahead and Faithless Looting here to start. Just so we can get some Dredgers into the yard here. And we hit multiple Dredgers, so I think we want to put Troll back. And Endurance is kind of bad here, but I feel like they would have already done that. Let's just kill the Teferi. I'm trying to think what they would even have at the moment. Because they're not playing anything out. So I don't think it's worth casting this Cabal Therapy yet. I think we'll pass. Hope we dodge another turn. Hedge Maze. Hopefully we just see them bin something here. Okay, they bin to Noble Hierarch, so they're still drawing blind. So I think we just have to dodge one more turn. Okay, there's another Nomads. And a land. Okay, so hopefully this means we can go off now. They have one card in hand. If it was an Endurance, they should do it now. Oh, they're going to... Okay, they're going to blow up our Cephalid Coliseum. I guess that's fine. We will go grab our Underground Sea so that we have black mana here. And we will Dredge Grave Troll. They're empty-handed. See what we hit. Otherworldly Gaze, another Cabal Therapy. I think what we need to do is flashback Faithless Looting. Start there and see where this goes. Dredge a Troll, and then Dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And then we want to chuck Bridge from Below and Poxwalkers. We get Narcomoeba back. Let's see what we can do here. We can Therapy ourselves to put Grave Trolls in the yard to be able to draw back. So let's do that. Cabal Therapy ourselves, sacking a Narcomoeba. This gets back a Poxwalkers, and we get 2 zombies out of the deal. I don't know if we can make enough zombies to be able to kill our opponent, but we're gonna try. So we strip our hand of our Grave Trolls, and then we've got another Cabal Therapy to be able to get 2 more zombies. We're still kind of just dead if they manage to find something to go off here. Sack the Poxwalkers. We get the Poxwalkers back, get 2 more zombies. And then we're going to name Stinkweed Imp to keep our graveyard nice and full. And then we basically just have to try to dodge a top deck from the opponent here. Yeah, okay. Basically, we just have to try to dodge 1 top deck from our opponent. And we're going to swing out here. They can nuke our bridges, which is actually kind of fine. There's still 2 more in the deck. This also presents lethal. So we just have to dodge a top deck, basically. And they scoop it up. We dodge the top deck. Okay, already on the board with Dredge taking down Nadu Breakfast. Okay, on to the next one. All right, won the die roll. Let's go. This is completely unkeepable. Gotta ship that. Okay, I don't hate this. The question becomes is what do we want to put back? We keep this. We're going to start off with Coliseum into Otherworldly Gaze. Hopefully hit a red source to be able to Faithful Saluting. I'm debating if we want to get rid of the Breakthrough, the Cabal Therapy, or the Poxwalkers here. Problem is like, I want this entire hand. I think we're going to put the Poxwalkers back for now. Alright. Opponent mold to 6 as well. Play a Cephalid Coliseum, pass the turn. Jig is up, we're on Dredge opponent. The nice part is about Dredge, kind of when we get started, we're not really casting spells anymore. Ooh, Fellmire. Is this Oops All Spells? They had to enter tapped, so they don't have a turn 1. This could also just be like black stompy stuff, in which case we have to worry about both Leyline and whatchamacallit here? Leyline and Dauthi Voidwalker. Sataru can go to the graveyard. I think we actually want to grab the Underground Sea to Cabal Therapy our Thug, and then go off with Breakthrough. So, yeah, I think we're going to leave the Underground Sea on top, and then just draw that. So we're going to play the Underground Sea. We are going to Cabal Therapy ourselves, name Golgari Thug, to get the Thug into the graveyard, and then go off with Breakthrough is the hope. X equals 0. Dredge the Thug. Okay. Unfortunately, we did not hit another Dredger, but we have a bunch of Dredgers in the graveyard. We kind of just have to hope that they don't have a turn 2 Dauthi Voidwalker, and if they do, I think we just scoop. Bog or Bog. This very much feels like Oops All Spells here. Okay, it is Oops. So we're going to get to see what our opponent has here. I just want to see what their deck is, see if there's any kind of spice. Alright, let's see what they got here. So this looks like the version I literally just played. It's got the Charbelcher's main, it's working with Poxwalkers. Okay. Okay, so we're about a turn too slow. That's fine. We are going to bring in our Graveyard Hate. See if we can take down an opposing graveyard deck here. Bring in the Ley Lines. Bring in the Silent Gravestones. As I said, I typically kind of take out some of the card drawy stuff here. I don't think Ox is going to be great here. I don't think we're going to do the Sataru thing. I think we do want to be aggro. That being said, maybe there's something we said about bringing in Leyline too to shut off the Charbelcher Juke. Just shut off both angles of the deck, but then we're taking out all sorts of other shit here. Actually, we might do that. We might not do the Silent Gravestones. I think we're going to be mulliganing for Leylines anyways. So let's bring in this. Just bring in Leylines to attack both sides of their deck. And let's try that. And this is where we get just absolutely wrecked by a Force of Vigor after we have 2 Leylines in play. I don't think we can keep this. Let's mulligan. We definitely can't keep this. This is way too slow. I think we keep this. Bin Narcomoeba, Bin Dread Return. And then it just comes down to what do we think is going to happen here, and what do we name with Cabal Therapy? Which plan do we think our opponent is doing here? Because I think we're going to Cabal Therapy on 1. It's just, is it a Spy, or is it a Undercity Informer? Let's try Spy. Okay, we hit 2 Spies. Okay, got it. So we hit Spy, Spy. They have a Charbelcher. They have 2 lands. We could attempt to just go off now, but I think we're going to wait. They have 1 Fairy Macabre. I think I'd rather wait until I go for a upkeep Otherworldly Gaze and plan accordingly. Okay. Played Fel the Profane as a land. That's fine. We can work through a Fairy Macabre. That's not really a problem. We are going to upkeep Otherworldly Gaze. Narcomoeba, Cabal Therapy, Volcanic Island. We're going to draw the island and see if we can get this Fairy Macabre action out here. They might just take both of our Cabal Therapies with the Narcomoeba trigger on the stack, which is fine if they do. This might force the Macabre action. It does. Okay, they are going after both of the Cabal Therapies. That's fine. We will get this back. We will play the Volcanic. And I think we're going to Gaze now, just in case we hit, like, a Faithless Looting or something. Do we want any of these things? I don't think so. We'll put that into the graveyard. Put that into the graveyard. Colosseum can do some shit, but I don't think we want it. We'll just put that into the graveyard as well. I think our plan is upkeep Gaze and see what happens. Okay, there's a Lotus Petal. Played out the Boggart Bog. Okay, so they're just running out Charbelcher, hoping to hit a land to be able to kill us next turn. Okay. So we basically just gotta dodge mana, is what I'm seeing here. Alright, upkeep Gaze. There's a Faithless Looting, but there's nothing to do with it, is the problem. So yeah, I think all of this goes to the graveyard. We hope that we draw a Dredger that we can bin with Lion's Eye Diamond. That is not a Dredger. I think we pass and just hope. Get in. We're kind of just trying to dodge a draw step here. They hit any mana, we're dead. And that's mana. Alright. Well, kind of a reverse of what happened with us. When we were on Oops, we got killed by Dredge. Now we're on Dredge, we got killed by Oops. But alright, on to the next one. Okay, this is interesting. I don't like that I have the Narcomoebas in hand, but I can turn one Otherworldly Gaze to try to set up. But I think I want to ship this, try to get something better. Okay, this I like. We're going to keep this. We're going to bin the Poxwalkers. We are going to lead off with Scalding Tarn. Oh, we are up against Eldrazi ramp of some sort. Okay, luckily we shouldn't have to worry about counter magic that much, but they do have access to main deck Graveyard Hate. But we're going to start out with Scalding Tarn. We're probably going to go fetch Underground Sea. Do they have the Nexus to follow it up to have 4 mana? No, Ancient Tomb, so they have 3 mana. Okay, into a Fleshraker. Do you have any 0-drops to follow that up? No. Okay. So we are going to go grab our Underground Sea. And we are going to Gaze and Sweet. I like all of this in the graveyard. Alright, so now the question becomes... I think we're going to upkeep Gaze again, try to hit a second Dredger so we get full Dredge off of our Faithless Looting. Cabal Therapy... That's actually interesting. Do we want the Breakthrough to try to draw more? I don't think we do. Well, it's a draw 4 versus a draw 2, but then we chuck our entire hand. But regardless, this is all going to the graveyard. It's just a matter of, do we want this Breakthrough to try to hit more Dredgers? I think we do. We'll put this on top of the library. We will draw the Breakthrough. We will not Dredge here. Play Volcanic Island. We also could Faithless Looting first. Hold on to this Breakthrough for next turn. I actually like that better. We're going to do that. It does mean we only theoretically hit 1 Dredger, which unfortunately we did. We only hit 1 Dredger, but it puts 2 Golgari Grave Trolls into the yard. We get a Narcomoeba back. We have 1 Therapy and 1 Bridge from below. We could Therapy, name like Karn, name the One Ring. Like, I'm trying to think of what the worst thing that could happen here is. Kozilek's Command is another thing we could theoretically have to worry about. But let's go in and attack, get our damage in. And then I think we are going to go ahead and Cabal Therapy here. Get our 1 dude. Karn can nuke our whole graveyard. Kozilek's Command can take a few things out, but not completely hamper us. Yeah, let's name Kozilek's Command. I'm more concerned about that than I am anything else. Oh, God, they had Karn? Okay, I guess I should have named Karn. I don't have another Therapy, but I guess they technically have the mana. I guess we'll see what they do here. Because they can cast the Basalt Monolith to get the 4th mana to be able to play Karn, go grab a Tormod's Crypt, but I can still break through next turn. They might also just get greedy and play the One Ring or play another Glaring Fleshraker. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, they are playing the Basalt Monolith, so they're either going to play Karn or the One Ring. We can just go ahead and do this here. The question just becomes which one are they going to get, because they can also grab Ensnaring Bridge, and I don't have a main deck way to get out of that either. Oh, they're just getting greedy with Glaring Fleshrakers. Okay. They are going to nuke the bridge from below. That's fine, I guess. Are they doing that just to nuke the... Okay, they got a Manifold Key. They have... Okay, they have infinite mana now. We're just going to go to the next one. That Manifold Key was a huge draw off the top. Okay. While I do think taking Microspawn out of this deck was a good thing, I still think Kozilek's Command is the actual issue here. But we're going to bring it into the Flood Maws, bring in the Shenanigans. Again, I think we're just getting rid of some of our card drawy stuff here. I kind of want to keep Sataru this time because I want to be able to do the combo finish here. What else do we want to chuck here? We have 2 more cuts. We could trim a Lion's Eye Diamond, probably. Maybe we don't need 4 into the Flood Maws. I think we can probably take out the Anger. Maybe take out 1 Thug, just because it's our worst Dredger. I don't like going down Dredgers, but maybe that's the correct thing, is to just take out one of our worst Dredger. Alright. Give me a Blazing Fast hand to start. This is not exactly blazing fast, but I do have some hate pieces. I don't like the Narcomoebas being in hand, though. The question just becomes, I think we're going to keep this and hope that it's enough. We have some hate pieces. We have some fast mana to be able to kind of go off. I don't like 2 of our Narcomoebas being in hand, but it is what it is. Alright, opponent kept on 6. Run out Volk. Run out Lion's Eye Diamond. Planned on end-stepping Otherworldly Gaze. Versus Tower from the opponent. And looks like a pass after that. Alright, end-step Otherworldly Gaze. Show me some good stuff. Dread Return, Poxwalkers, and a Mountain. Unfortunately, I think we got to bin all of this. Not what we wanted to see off of Otherworldly Gaze. We could have taken the Mountain so we could Otherworldly Gaze again, but I think we're better off just trying to draw blind here. They also always could have like a Fairy Macabre to take this before we can play our Mountain. Bridge from below. Okay. Depending on what they do, we could bounce their hate piece and go for a Otherworldly Gaze, dumping our hand. Unless, of course, it's Karn into Tormod's Crypt. But, alright, they had the Nexus. I've got 4 mana. What is it? Okay, Grim Monolith. We could also bounce the Grim Monolith in response as well, depending on what they do here. Into a Mystic Forge. Okay. Lotus Petal. They've only got 2 mana here. Maybe we should have bounced the Mystic Forge in response there. Maybe that's what we should have done. Maybe we should have bounced the Mystic Forge in response to the Lotus Petal. Because I think we are going to go ahead and dump our hand to Otherworldly Gaze. Alright, they're doing that. I think now is the time to bounce the Mystic Forge. We'll give them a fish. Because I think we are going to go ahead and just upkeep Otherworldly Gaze here. Yeah, we're going to upkeep Otherworldly Gaze, try to set up our draw, and hopefully hit something relevant here. Otherworldly Gaze. Get a Poxwalkers back. I suppose we probably should have done that on their end step. I forgot there was a Poxwalkers in the graveyard. The fact that this is sitting on the stack makes me think they either have a Macabre or a Surgical Extraction. Okay, they do have a Macabre. They're going after the Poxwalkers and the Cabal Therapy. Okay. Otherworldly Gaze, Cephalid Coliseum, into the Floodmaw. I kind of want all of this, but we will put the Otherworldly Gaze into the yard for sure. I think we're just going to go ahead and draw the Cephalid Coliseum so that we can Otherworldly Gaze again and hopefully set up before they can do anything too crazy. I mean, they're going to be able to get, well, yeah, they're going to be able to get the Mystic Forge down again next turn, but we'll see how this goes. I think this is our best line here. Hopefully we Otherworldly Gaze into some Dredgers, activate Cephalid Coliseum. Ancient Tomb, okay. Glaring Fleshraker, okay, so they theoretically can just pop off here, but they'll only have 1 mana left over after they cast the Mystic Forge. But we'll see where this goes. Yep. Take a little bit of damage. Hopefully there's not a bunch of 0 drops to really start going off with. They've only got 2 cards in hand. Exiling something with Mystic Forge already, that's good. Key really lets them pop off. Okay, they're nuking our bridge from below. Pithing Needle. Ooh, okay, so they're gonna Pithing Needle. They're gonna name Cephalid Coliseum, but we can still otherworldly gaze here. Yep, name Cephalid Coliseum. We theoretically can find an Into the Flood mod to bounce that, but I don't like where we're at currently. But we will end of turn. Flashback, otherworldly gaze. Hopefully this shows us something good. Imp, Narcomoeba. Okay. We want to throw all that shit into the graveyard. Get Narcomoeba back. So the question becomes is, do we want to dredge here, or do we want to try to get a natural draw to hit another draw engine? I think we want to dredge here. Cabal Therapy, Dread Return. So what could their last card be? It wasn't a 1-drop. It could be a Karn, it could be a One Ring. If we sacrifice Narcomoeba, we kind of just lose all value here. We could therapy ourselves. I do not like where we are at. I think we just pass. As much as it sucks, I think that is the correct move, is just pass. I could have gone in for one, but I don't think it's going to be super relevant here. And now we just got to hope that the top of their deck isn't crazy or anything. Into another Glaring Fleshraker. Alright, I mean, we're just going to F6 here. If they can kill us from here, they can kill us from here. With double Fleshraker, they probably will. I have heard some argument for Fleshraker is the card that should go. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. I personally think Fleshraker isn't nearly as egregious without Kozilek's command, but we'll see. Like, they're probably just going to burn us out from here. They need 2 more spells and we're dead, which is probably super easy for them to do. Exile with Mystic Forge. The One Ring. Okay. So I think we're pretty much definitively dead here. They literally need to cast 1 spell and they have infinite mana. Come on, 3 lands. And Fleshraker number 3. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see if we can rally in the back half of this league here. But alright, on to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. Let's see an actual, like, explosively fast start out of this deck. I was getting some really good ones when I was testing originally, but we will keep this. I think we're going to bin the Cabal Therapy per now. Start out with a Scalding Tarn into Faithless Looting to set up our Dredge for the second Faithless Looting. There's something to be said about maybe we go ahead and grab a basic here just to be safe. I really don't want to get Wastelanded. And seeing as we are very much banking on these Faithless Lootings, I think I am going to go ahead and do that. Let's check a Imp and a Grave Troll. Totally just realized we're in round 4 and I haven't adjusted the screen yet. My bad. Hopefully that wasn't cutting off anything. Once Upon a Time for the opponent. Is this another, like, Eldrazi ramp deck? Is this actually a land strategy? No, it's another Eldrazi deck. Okay. Eldrazi Temple. Are they not playing out the It that Heralds the End? Okay. I don't know why they're not playing that out, but that's fine. Okay, we will Dredge the Grave Troll. Otherworldly Gaze, Cephalid Coliseum, a bunch of shit that doesn't matter. We have a Stinkweed Imp, so let's go ahead and flashback Faithless Looting, Dredge the Imp, Dredge a Grave Troll, chuck 2 Grave Trolls. Unfortunately, we haven't really hit anything relevant yet. Like, we're almost halfway through our deck, and we have not hit anything we can actually cast out of the graveyard yet. Ivugin, okay. Glaring Fleshraker, okay. Into It That Heralds the End? Okay. So they were trying to set up for that, got it. So we need to hit good off of our Dredge here. Yep, take our damage. Pass the turn. We very much need to hit good off of this Dredge. And we're over halfway through our deck. And they can nuke our bridges at any point. Wow, this is just not working for us today. This is kind of disappointing. Luckily, there's only 1 bridge for them to nuke at the moment. Chalice of the Void on 1, okay. I mean, I'm not really casting anything the rest of the game anyway, so... Take a Schwack here. We just really gotta hope that this Grave Troll Dredge hits something good. Oh my god! And yeah, we're pretty much just dead on board, but we went 2/3 of the way through our deck and didn't find a single Narcomoeba. That's kinda crazy. Literally all they need to do is cast 1 spell. And now they can nuke 2 of our Bridge from Belows? Alright, they're still not doing it yet. Alright, well, I guess we dredge a Stinkweed Imp and hope for the best. Oh my god! You have got to be kidding me. Holy shit. Okay. 43 cards into our deck, and not a single fucking Narcomoeba to be able to start going off with. Okay. Message received. That being said, let's go ahead and bring in the Into the Flood Maws and just kind of do what we were doing here. Take out the Breakthroughs, a Careful Study, and an Oxymogonus, and let's try that. Okay, come on, deck. Cannot keep this. These have been some fucking awful hands lately. We cannot keep this either. Like I said, I was actually doing really well practicing with this deck. And now it is just not wanting to work whatsoever. I mean, I guess we're going to keep this. Chuck Anger and a Lion's Eye Diamond, I guess. I mean, we're just going to hope for the best here. And hope that we can hit something off of our dredges. So, I think upkeep. We're going to go ahead and just chuck our hand. Hope that we can dredge into something relevant. Alright. Nothing off the Eldrazi Temple. Yeah. Just chuck our hand. Do not macabre me, bro. Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Today is not Dredge's day, apparently. Chalice on 1, okay. Into a Thassa's Oracle. Alright. I mean, it is what it is. Maybe I should have waited a turn so that I could get a third Dredger into the graveyard, but... I mean, oh well. Hey, you can't wasteland me. Another Stinkweed Imp, okay. I mean, our opponent hasn't presented a clock yet, so... The One Ring, okay. Otherworldly Gaze that I can't cast, okay. I mean, this is like 99% over, but... Moral victories, they can't wasteland us. I know Mafuz is going to be watching this, and I'm very sorry, Mafuz, that this is kind of a poor showing of me playing this deck. Okay. I mean, just F6 through the turn while our opponent does their stuff. I mean, they've got 2 Chalice on 1s. I have no way to deal with that. They're drawing a bajillion cards per turn with the One Ring. My hope at this point is they just kill themselves with the One Ring. Oh, second Glaring Fleshraker. Alright. Can you burn me out from here, opponent? You've got 7 cards. Into it, guys. Well, show me the Kozilek's command. Do it. I dare you. Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, you can take a card out of my hand. That's fine. None of them are doing anything anyways. Oh, man. Just burn me out from here, opponent. Like, please. Just do it. Show me a Kozilek's command. Burn me out. 4 mana, 5... Yeah, this is a Kozilek's command. For 6 mana, this is 100% a Kozilek's command. Yeah. Okay, we're just dead here. Alright. I got the message, universe. I got it. Alright. On to the final round. Okay. On to the final round. Let's see if I can at least bookend this league with some wins and get half of our play points back. It's a little disappointing because I was absolutely tearing up the practice rooms with this deck, trying to learn the lines. And it has just not wanted to work since I hopped into a league. But we'll see how this goes. I apologize to all of the Dredge aficionados. I am not doing well with the deck right now. I know y'all were hoping for like a 5-0 or something, but... Admittedly, the meta is still very hostile to graveyard strategies. Like, even with Troll being banned, we're going to see dedicated reanimator strategies. We're still going to see a ton of oops all spells. So there's still going to be a ton of stuff to have graveyard hate running around the format. So, okay. I don't hate this. Hopefully we can otherworldly gaze into some dredgers for this breakthrough. We might take a couple of turns off if we can, just to otherworldly gaze and otherworldly gaze. Okay, Tundra from the opponent, so hopefully that means we're up against something slower and more fair, which is specifically what this deck preys on. Into a Dread Return, we'll just start out with the Volcanic Island. We will plan on end step otherworldly gazing. And luckily we have multiple lands, so even if they happen to be on some kind of wasteland strategy, we have some protection from that. I'm also fine baiting out a wasteland like this because it will set our opponent back a turn. Hopefully they're not just like on a breakfast combo deck and they're just leading off on Tundra, but we'll see. Okay, into a Flooded Strand from the opponent, so I am getting like control-y vibes. I expect we are going to see a uptick in control temporarily with Mycospawn's banning. A lot of people seem to think that is the card that's single-handedly holding down control. And I really don't think that's the case. Yes, it is a boot on the neck of control, but it's not the only reason control is not good at the moment. There are tons of other things in the format that are keeping control down. So I do expect at least a temporary resurgence in control, but I have a feeling it's going to be more of a flash in the pan outside of the dedicated control players. Alright, we're getting a fetch out of our opponent. I wonder if we're going to see a counterspell here. Which, if they want a counterspell, that's totally fine. Another Tundra. Like, even a Force Negation on this is fine. We have another one. Alright, hard casting a Daze. That's totally fine. We will just upkeep the other one. Daze makes me think they might be like a Delver or a Stoneblade style deck. Dread Return, Lion's Eye Diamond. We're going to put the Poxwalkers in the yard. We're going to put the Dread Return in the yard. I think we're going to draw the Lion's Eye Diamond. I like it as a burst of mana for something we can do. We could also chuck our hand to Otherworldly Gaze to get the Poxwalkers back, but I think we're better off holding on to it and using it after a breakthrough to possibly flash back like a Faithless Looting or something. We will play out the Scalding Tarn and pass. I think we will upkeep Otherworldly Gaze because we have another land to be able to cast this breakthrough with if we want to. Oh, it's a Stiflenought deck. Okay. Into a Dress Down? No. Consign. Why are they replicating the Consign to Memory? I don't understand that. Okay. In upkeep, we're going to fetch. At least this can't get stifled right now. We do need to work our way through this Dreadnought, but we have multiple ways to get through it. I think we're going to grab our Underground Sea here. And we are going to flash back Otherworldly Gaze, get back our Poxwalkers. Thug, Anger, and Narcomoeba. I don't mind that at all. We will get back the Narcomoeba. And then we will dredge the Thug. We hit a Golgari Grave Troll. So I think what we want to do here... Okay, they're F6'd, so what we're going to do is we are going to break through for 0, and with that on the stack, we are going to pop Lion's Eye Diamond for red to be able to flash back this Faithless Looting. Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug, into another Grave Troll. That's good. And then we can actually get back Ox of Agonis. I think that's what we're going to do here. Breakthrough, Mountain, Lion's Eye Diamond, Cephalid Coliseum, Scalding Tarn, Cephalid Coliseum. We get back a Poxwalkers, we get the Ox of Agonis. To dredge again, grab Grave Troll, get 2 Narcomoebas, Grave Troll, and Grave Troll. Alright, we get 3 Narcomoebas back. And I think we can go for the Sawataru win this way. Actually, we can just go for the Thassa's Oracle win right now. I'm debating if we want to Cabal Therapy first. I think we do, just to clear the way. Get a couple of zombies back, get our Poxwalkers back, just so we can see what else is going on over there. Just get some more information on the way out the door. Murktide Regent, Null Drifter, Prismatic Ending, okay. And then we want to... Where is our Dread Return? Dread Return, Thassa's Oracle, sack. Get all these triggers on the stack. And our devotion is far higher than 4. Holy shit, Moto's lagging. Okay. And then we get Thassa's Oracle back, and we win. Doesn't really matter what we put on top. We just win the game anyways. Alright. Taking down Stiflenought in game 1. I like that. We need to be worried about all of their Stifle style effects. We want to bring in Shenanigans, bring in Into the Flood Maws. And again, I think we kind of just do what we did. Take out Ox. I'm super iffy on Anger. I like it, but I don't know. Since I don't think we're going to do the Sawataru combo, I think we're going to take out Dread Return and take out Sawataru. We can adjust accordingly for game number 3 if we need to, but I think we're going to just try to beat them down as quickly as possible and try something like that. Really don't know what Stiflenought has in their sideboard for hate. I'm sure it's probably like Fairy Macabres or something. Alright, did a quick search. It looks like Grafdigger's Cage is their main sideboard card. So, Into the Floodmaws and Shenanigans are both good against that. Okay, I mean, I like this. If they have a turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage, it gives us a window to try to find answers for it. Opponent kept on 7, led off with a Misty Rainforest, cracking it. Into a Tundra. Okay, Grafdigger's Cage. Alright, I mean, we have a window to try to find ways around this, which I'm A-okay with. Into a Poxwalkers, that's fine. I think we're going to just go ahead and Otherworldly Gaze next turn. Like, end step Otherworldly Gaze. There's something to be said about maybe I should have played out Scalding Tarn there to play around Stifle, but, like, I will say, I think Dredge is kind of the quintessential, like, matchup of the sideboard's deck, so to speak. Because the sideboard cards are just so good against it in general, but we'll see. The nice part about Shenanigans also is the fact that you can dredge it back if you happen to mill over it. So, we'll ship the turn. Like I said, we're going to plan on Otherworldly Gazing at their end step. And it looks like they kept a 1-lander on the strength of Grafdigger's Cage, so let's see if they daze this. No, they're not doing that. None of these are what I'm looking for at the moment. So let's just bin all of this at the moment. We can dredge to try to find Shenanigans. Or we can Faithless Looting to try to find Shenanigans. I think we're better off dredging for it. Do I want to dredge here is the question. Or do I want to take a natural draw for now? I think I want to dredge. It's a higher chance of hitting it. Okay, and there is one, which is good. If they have a Fairy Macabre to take it, that kind of sucks. But play out that. We will play Faithless Looting to get Shenanigans back. Grab the Shenanigans. And do I want to dredge again? No. We're going to take a natural draw on the second one. Okay, I like a secondary, whatchamacallit here. So we can chuck Grave Troll, chuck Poxwalkers. I think we're going to hold on to these Lion's Eye Diamonds. And we are going to try to go crazy next turn, is the hope. Alright, they finally found their second land. Alright, we are going to take a natural draw. I would like to hit a 3rd mana. We draw another Cabal Therapy. Okay. We'll grab Underground Sea, and we will Cabal Therapy. I think we're going to name Daze here. We also could have tried to force out some action. Okay, Spell Pierce. That's actually mostly okay. We will run out 1 Lion's Eye Diamond, see if we can bait out a Prismatic Ending or something with this one. And I think we're going to take another natural draw here. Alright, they're finally starting to hit their mana. Like, my concern is that we get our Shenanigans Force of Negation. We're going to take another natural draw. Into a Dread Return. Alright, let's see how much counter magic they have here. I will eventually get to the point where I'm just going to start trying to force this Shenanigans through and just keep dredging it back. Doorkeeper Thrall, okay. That's mostly okay. Like I said, I feel like Daze is probably their counterspell of choice here. Force of Will, Force of Negation. Okay, so that was a straight up whiff. So now we have to get through this Force of Negation. I don't like that. Curie, okay. So they're going to have a card advantage engine online. Question is do I want to start trying to work toward another... No, I think we're still going to take a natural draw here. Okay, we hit our 3rd mana. And I think we're going to try to bait out one of these counterspells here. Let's grab a Volk. Run out Poxwalkers to try to block this Curie. See if this gets the Force of Will out of their hand. Alright, it does get Force of Will out of hand. Pitching Dress down. Okay. So that is one of their counters out of the way. I have enough mana now if I draw another Cabal Therapy that I can Therapy away the Force of Negation, Shenanigans the Grafdigger's Cage, and go from there. But they are going to start drawing cards. Hit a land, okay. So they can flash a Brazen Borrower now if they want. I mean, I guess they always could do that. We're going to take another natural draw into a Cephalid Coliseum. We'll just play that out. Like, the problem is knowing they have this Force of Negation. I actually think we're going to go for it and try to dredge into another one. Like, we're going to force the action now, get the force negation out of their hand, try to dredge into another one. Yep, there's the force. And then I'm going to try to dredge into the other one. There's also something to be said about maybe just Cephalid Coliseuming. Try to find some kind of hate spell. Alright, I think we're going to try to do this here. We're going to dredge. See if I can find another shenanigans. Okay, I do find a shenanigans. Unfortunately, we lose out on our Narcomoebas. Alright, let's go ahead and... Hold on. I'm trying to think if there's some way... No, I gotta do this first. And I think I'm going to tap one of the volcanic islands for now. Alright, Dredge shenanigans back. And then do I just want to take natural draws from here is the question. I think I do to try to hit a land. And then we can chuck Dread Return, Golgari Grave Troll, and Narcomoeba. And then I think we just try to go for it. We dredge it back next turn. As long as they don't have another Force of Negation. Like, if they just have a Force of Will, I can just dredge it back next turn. If they Force of Will it, then I can dredge it back, Cabal Therapy, and go for it again. Did they find a second Force of Negation? Really? Yes? No? Maybe? They're going to Petty Theft the Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, that's fine. I don't care about that at all. And they're going to Daze it. Okay. So I see what they were doing there. So we're just going to dredge it back next turn and try again. So they were doing that to make it so that I couldn't pay for the days. Okay. Wasteland, that's mostly fine. Yep, take out a red source, that's fine. I am dodging a... whatchamacallit here. Alright, so unfortunately now I can't Cabal Therapy first, so I kind of just have to fucking go for it. Alright, can we dodge another... whatchamacallit here? Alright, cast a Lion's Eye Diamond. Gotta dodge another Force of Negation. Consign to Memory, okay. That's one card out of hand. Cast another Lion's Eye Diamond. That makes me think they have a Daze. Alright, well, let's try again. What do you got? A Daze. Do I want to pay for it? I can always Otherworldly Gaze, so I think I am. So let's make blue. And there are some Poxwalkers, so I can kind of start going off. Alright, pay for the Daze. Kill the Grafdigger's Cage, hopefully. Alright. Cast Otherworldly Gaze. Get back a couple of Poxwalkers. So the question just becomes is what is their last card that they haven't been casting? Maybe like a Swords to Plowshares? Alright, they're going to Daze it, so that's another Daze out of hand, but we're getting the Poxwalkers back, which is the important thing. Do this. Get a zombie and a Poxwalkers back. And then what? Name Swords to Plowshares? Okay, 2 lands. That's fine. Is there anything else we want to do here? Is there anything else we can do here? There is a Dread Return, but I don't think it does anything yet. Yeah, I think we're going to pass a turn here. Hope that we dodge a top deck. Well, even if... well, no, they could still copy it. Because they can play land, play Phyrexian Dreadnought. So we kind of just got to hope that we can dodge a Phyrexian Dreadnought here. And there is another Underworldly Gaze in the graveyard, so I think we're going to upkeep Underworldly Gaze. Okay, get him for 1, that's fine. There's the Meticulous Archive. See if they like what they have on top. Alright, put a Containment Priest in the graveyard. They decided that is not where this game is at the moment. Alright. Do I want to Otherworldly Gaze now to increase my chances of hitting stuff that's relevant? Or do I want to Dredge first? I think I want to Dredge first in case I hit some more Poxwalkers. Okay, we hit a Narcomoeba. I like that. Get back this. So we know about a land in their hand. We don't have the mana to be able to do anything else at the moment. There's only 1 bridge in the graveyard. So I think we're willing to let this bridge die to try to get through and get some extra damage in. Alright, let's get in. If they want to block with their Curie and nuke our 1 bridge, I'm actually okay with that. I am getting close to the point where I can just win with Das's Oracle, so I like that. However, they have so many Stifle-style effects, I don't think that's going to be realistic. Granted, we do have 2 Cabal therapies in the yard. 3? Are they willing to give up their Curie to nuke my bridge from below? No. Okay. Again, we're kind of just trying to dodge draw steps here. There's the island. Well, that's a Dreadnought. And if they copy it, we're just dead. Does this get trample? Does it actually get trample? Yes, it does. Okay, so we are... Is there any way we can eat enough of this to survive? There's 2 Narcomoebs. All 3 Narcomoebs are in the graveyard, right? Okay, yeah. There's no way that we can eat this. We basically just were trying to dodge a top deck there. But here's what it is. That was surprisingly close considering how long it took us to set up and how long they had that Grafdigger's Cage on the battlefield. So, that all being said, I think we're just going to run it back. Alright, let's go. Alright, I like this. We will keep. Gonna start off with Volcanic Island, then Otherworldly Gaze. Hope that we avoid a turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage, and if we don't, then we just dredge until we find Into the Floodmaw or Shenanigans. It's a little awkward our Thoracle is in hand, but there's also a world where we could just, like, dredge enough to play the Thoracle from hand, but we'll see. Alright, opponent kept on 7. We will start out with the Volcanic Island. Are we seeing a turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage again? Yes, we are. Okay. Well, we will Otherworldly Gaze, see if we can find a Shenanigans. Poxwalkers, Island, Cabal Therapy. The Island is interesting because it's some repeatable mana, but I think we just want to bin everything. Because we want to find an answer. Do they have a Macabre as well? Alright, there's a Faithless Looting, so let's play that. Play the Colosseum, play a Faithless Looting. See if we can find one of our removal spells here. We do not, so let's put back Grave Troll and Imp. I think I'm going to hold on to this Lion's Eye Diamond for now. And I think we want to try to dredge to find Shenanigans. Or we could try to just draw into one of our Into the Floodmaws. If they don't present us with a super fast clock, I think we are going to try to just naturally draw into like an Into the Floodmaw or something. Did our opponent keep another 1-lander with a Grafdigger's Cage? No. Into a Curie, okay. I think we're just going to take a natural draw here. Into an Underground Sea. I don't hate that. We will just play out the Stinkweed Imp. It's pseudo Death Touch. So, play out the Stinkweed Imp. Okay, headphones died. Sorry about that. So, Stinkweed Imp is on the stack. We'll see if they counter this. It's at least pseudo Death Touch, so if they do manage to get down a Dreadnought, I can kill the Dreadnought or I can kill the Curie. But they're going to be able to draw a shitload of cards if that's the case. Alright, it resolves. Into a Wasteland. Okay, so that can take out our Cephalid Coliseum, which is admittedly annoying. But if they do that, it means that they can't Curie Dreadnought this turn. Oh, they're going after the Volcanic Island. Okay. Trying to cut us off of red. That's totally fine. Not getting in with the Curie because they don't want it to die. So I can take a natural draw and then Cephalid Coliseum and hope that I hit mana. Which I think is what we're going to do here. A bridge from below. That's mildly annoying, but not the end of the world. And I think we are going to go ahead and Cephalid Coliseum ourselves here. Hopefully they don't stifle this. They don't. Dredge a Grave Troll. We do not hit a Shenanigans here. Grab a Stinkweed Imp. Still no Shenanigans. Do I want to just take a natural draw for the last draw is the question. I think I do. I'm just going to take a natural draw. Okay, there's an Into the Floodmaw. So let's chuck Grave Troll, Stinkweed Imp, and Bridge from Below. And then we kind of just got to hope that they don't have counter magic. Which I know is a very tall order to ask for, but there's a Brainstorm. If they find another Wasteland, we're kind of in trouble. Meticulous Archive, okay. That's mostly fine. And they're still not going to get in with their Curie. That's fine. Alright, how much counter magic do you have, opponent, is the question. We're going to take a natural draw into a Grave Troll. I mean, we got to go for it. We can pay for a daze. Mystical Dispute. I think we pay for this and hope for the best. I mean, if they counter this, I think we're just dead. We gotta hope they don't have another counter. Oh, they had Force of Will on top of it. Okay. Well, we gotta hope that we find another Into the Floodmaw. Force of Will, pitching Consign to Memory. Okay. Well, we still got to play to see if we can hit another Into the Flood Maw. So we are halfway through our deck, and we've only seen two. Lavinia Azorius Renegade. Okay. I mean, that just counters the spell. It doesn't prevent me from casting it. Otherworldly Gaze. Okay. We will sit back for a moment. Kind of just hoping to dodge some draw steps here. Okay, they are going to get in with their Lavinia. That's fine. I don't want to kill it yet. Alright, so I'm guessing they still have even more interaction here. Shenanigans, Scalding Tarn, Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's put on top, put on top, put on top. This is kind of like a 3-turn line here, but play the Scalding Tarn. We will draw the Shenanigans next turn and kind of just hope for the best at that point. And if they counter it, we will fetch away. I mean, I guess we gotta fetch away the Lion's Eye Diamond regardless, but trying to dodge a Force of Negation here. Can we take one more turn off? I think we're going to try to. I don't like that it gives them time, but I'd like to try to bait out a counterspell on the Lion's Eye Diamond if possible. Brainstorm, okay. Alright, opponent gets in after their Brainstorm with Lavinia. Alright, we will draw the Lion's Eye Diamond. We will play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh, right, it gets countered by Lavinia. I'm dumb, it's fine. Don't stifle me, bro. Okay, they didn't stifle me. Don't have a Force of Negation? Like, a Force of Will is fine. It's Force of Negation specifically is the problem here. Hydroblast. Okay. I mean, we'll dredge it back and try again next turn. Problem is we are at the point now where if they find a Dreadnought, we're just dead. And they found the Dreadnought. Alright, I guess this is the universe telling me that Dredge should not be a deck currently, but okay. I mean, problem is we eat 2 of it, goes to 10, we take 2 from the other thing, so, like, we're dead regardless here, so little disappointing of a record here, but, yeah, I guess I'll just address that in the wrap-up after our opponent puts me to 0. Like, I won't even bother blocking, there's no point. We're taking 12 regardless here, so they got 14 damage and I can eat 2 of it, but alright, well, kind of disappointing results, but, yeah, like I said, I'll address it all in the wrap-up. So, the league did not end up going very well. Unfortunately, as we saw, we kind of just didn't really have any of the super explosive starts that the deck can have. But that being said, when we did just completely pop off, it did some really spectacular things. One thing to note about this deck is, like, you don't really care that much about counter magic in most circumstances, because once you get your engine going, you're not really actually casting spells anymore. You're activating abilities and you're dredging things, or you don't care about your spells resolving because they just trigger a bunch of abilities, and the abilities are what you care about. So that's why a lot of people kind of jokingly say when you're playing Dredge, you're not really playing Magic, because after your first 2 or 3 spells, you're really not actually casting spells the rest of the game. But unfortunately, because of the fact that graveyard-centric decks are a huge part of the top of the meta right now, you saw everybody was packing just a ton of graveyard hate, and some decks are even packing main deck graveyard hate to respect the Reanimator and the Oops style decks that are in the format at the moment. But overall, like, when the deck did its thing, it was fun. It's really cool that this particular build can both aggro out your opponent in a traditional Dredge zombie beatdown route along with Anger to get it done the turn that you go off, but it can also pivot onto the combo plan with Satoru and Thassa's Oracle, just milling your whole deck and then winning in a Oops breakfasty style way with Oracle as well, if you're not going to be able to beat your opponent down because they have something like an ensnaring bridge, or they just have like this huge board that you can't get through for some reason. So it's really cool that this version of the deck does have both game plans. I will say it's not really my style of deck. I mean, it's cool when it goes off, but it's kind of just like this weird style that I'm not super familiar with, and I tried my best, and like I said, admittedly, the variance kind of got us a bit in terms of not really having those super explosive hands to really be able to take advantage of, and we had to mulligan a ton just to really even have functional hands at all. But, I mean, it was still a blast to play. I still don't think the meta is in a very good place for graveyard decks at the moment, because you've still got stuff like Traditional Reanimator, Oops, Breakfast-style decks all running around at the top of the format. and you're still going to see a ton of graveyard hate even after the bannings. You're not going to see the blue-black reanimator deck running around anymore, but you're still going to see the blue-black tempo decks running around, which do rely on your graveyard. You're going to see a ton of the traditional combo reanimator style decks running around as well as people transition back into that. And then you've still got a ton of oops. So, I mean, you're still running into a very, very hostile meta in terms of graveyard strategies. So, but overall, I don't really have any comments on how to change the deck. As I said, it's not really my playstyle. Unfortunately, I didn't do well in this league. I did do really well practicing trying to learn the lines of the deck, and unfortunately, it did not transfer into the video. But I am sorry, Dredge players. I didn't put up a very good record with this deck. I think I did the best that I could with what I was given. And I'm not unhappy with how I played through things. I'm just unhappy with how it turned out. But anyways, I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. Thank you for watching. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. They are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.